It's another day of our business class as powered by the Business Sense Digest, a magazine that is on its mission to empower entrepreneurs, especially African entrepreneurs. And I'm excited to be here again on this yet another episode or another edition of the business class. I trust that the week went well for you. I don't know about you, but I had a very, very interesting and amazing week. I hope that is also said of you. All right. In case yours didn't go well, don't worry. Everything is going to be fine. All right. Everything is certainly going to be okay. We started this series. We did a first edition. All right. I think it was in the last class where we talked about how to enhance your marketing campaign, how to be able to ensure, guarantee your return on investment when it comes to the issue of marketing, how to be able to guarantee your chances of getting results, which is conversion or which is sales or patronage, simply put. And I gave a lot of tips, a lot of strategies, a lot of things you can do. So I encourage you to please, it's free. So just go to what we treated the last time so as to be able to learn, all of that. All right. So in today's class, I'll be sharing with you something very important. While I was pondering on what to share, I stumbled on something that I shared, all right, while I was invited to, while I was featured rather in a boot camp, all right, in an entrepreneur's boot camp. And I felt it to be relevant to you. That is why I'm going to be sharing that to you, because if you understand the concept I'm going to share with you, you will be able to do business better. You understand? Because there are a lot of misconceptions out there. You understand about which is the greatest. This, I believe, will be able to settle that argument. All right. In case you're meeting me for the first time, Dr. Simon Matthew is my name. I am the publisher of the magazine talking about the Business Sense Digest. I am also a business branding coach and strategist. All right. I help businesses with strategies, branding wise, that can be able to help them. I also help businesses, especially startups. I help them add flesh, all right, to their ideas, and I also give them strategies on how they can leverage branding to be able to build not just a thriving business, but a sustainable business. All right. So if you have need for someone you can talk to about the branding of your business, I am your go-to person. All right. And so you're welcome. Now, without wasting much time, because I don't intend us wasting too much time today. All right. Sorry that I'm going to just give me this minute. All right. The Business Sense Digest will be officially launched on the 25th of January. All right. I'll be leaving a link, you understand, in the comments section, so you can join the community. It is in that community you'll be getting the different issues, monthly issues, for free. You understand, for free, plus other amazing benefits that you stand to enjoy by virtue of being a member of that community. You understand? It's a community of entrepreneurs, so you know what that means. All right. So straight to what we have: essentials for personal branding. Now, there's been a lot of argument. You understand? Argument as to between corporate branding and personal branding. which is the greatest, which is more important, which is which of them should take preeminence, which of them should be given more attention. It's very simple. It is like the case of arguing that between the foundation, you understand, between the foundation of a building and the roofing of a building, which should be given more attention to. We should be given more attention. That is what, for me, based on my understanding and experience, as this is what, for me, that argument looks like. Because it's not supposed to even get to the point of argument. But sometimes, when argument ensues or when argument erupts, it's simply maybe out of ignorance. People are arguing certain things that the answer is very obvious if they either look critically at the issue or they get someone who is more experienced on the issue to shed light or to educate them. And that's what I want to simply do. Now, if you ask me, I'll tell you straight up, personal branding should take preeminence because personal branding is like the foundation. As important as the roof is to a building, it is also that kind of importance that the foundation is to that same building. Because if the foundation is not right, the building can collapse. If the roofing also is not right, a lot of damages will be done. You understand? So it is like you choosing between two importance. Which of these is more important? You can't choose one and leave one. But if you ask me, of the two, which should I focus more on first? Personal branding is very, very important because it has a lot of benefits. So what I'm going to be sharing with you are the things you can do to be able to get started when it comes to your personal branding. All right. So essentials to your personal essentials to for personal branding. I want you to know that no matter how great a venture is, I'm trying to share with you now the importance of personal branding. No matter how big or how great a venture is, even especially in these days of AI, artificial intelligence, I want you to know that there are individuals that are behind the scene. However great, however fantastic a venture is, I want you to know that even no matter how big, you understand, how big a product is, you understand, or how amazing an event happens, or how fantastic an organization is, someone somewhere is behind the scene calling all the shots. Someone somewhere is behind all the scene calling all the shots. If you cannot take away humans, in the equation of building things, then their branding is very, very important. Their branding is very, very important. I want you to note that. What is even personal branding? Personal branding is simply the art. It's simply the art of creating the kind of perception you want people to have about you. It's simply the art of creating perception that you want people to have about you. That's what personal branding is about. That is what personal branding is about. And so it's important that you have that at the back of your mind. It's about creating the kind of perception you want people to have about you. So whatever perception you want people to have, the art of deliberately doing things to be able to create that kind of impression. That's what personal branding is. So if I'm to put it simply, I'll simply tell you it is about creating impression. It is the act or the art of making impressions. So the question is, what kind of impression do you want to make? So the kind of impression that you want to make, all right, will go a long way. Will go a long way in determining the set of things that you should do. The set of things that you should do. I want you to note this as some of the basis or some of the importance of branding. Number one, is the fact that it is the basis. It is the basis, all right. It is the basis for connection. It is the basis for connection. Branding or personal branding is the basis for connection. Sometimes some people, when people want to connect with you, they connect with you sometimes on the basis of interest. On the basis of interest, especially if both of you share same interest, or both of you belong to the same association, or both of you have the same kind of belief by virtue of what you've expressed or what you've portrayed. It will now determine whether or not to connect with you or not to connect with you. So it is the basis for connection. Number two, it is also used as leverage for opportunities and growth. Branding can be used as leverage for growth and as well as for opportunities. Aside that, it is also true branding. If you're properly branded as an individual, it is the basis. It makes it easier for referrals. It makes it easier for referrals. So you know. I hope you are aware that branding is not just about aesthetics. It's not about just the name that you bear. It's not about the title that you have. It's not about all of the physical attributes that people can see or people can use to identify you. I hope you know it's not just that. It is also about the experience that you give people by virtue of the interactions, by virtue of the delivery of your services or your products, all right, and the other things that you're involved in that people can relate with. All right, so those things are very, very important. All right, so it is also another important is also the foundation for sustainable growth, especially if you intend to build a kind of relationship that will outlive you. All right, so it's also the pathway of taking the lead. If you want to become a leader in whatever you do, personal branding is non-negotiable. It is also one of the major condiments for influence, impact, and as well as income. It's one of the major ingredients, major condiments, major ingredients, you understand, for influence, for income, as well as for impact. You understand? If you want to make better impact, then personal branding is non-negotiable. If you want to gain influence, personal branding is non-negotiable. If you want to make better income, personal branding is non-negotiable. So let us then look at the essentials. Let's now dive deeper into the essentials. So talking about the essentials, I'll be touching on three quick areas. I hope I'll be able to do that within the few time that I have to share with you guys. All right, I'll be touching on three important things, and I hope you know that this class you are free to ask your questions. All you need to do is use the comment section, ask your question. Just share with us where you are joining from. All right, and you're also free to ask your questions, and I'm more than glad to hear. You can also feel free to make suggestions. You can also feel free to make comments. All right, I'll be more than glad, all right, to respond to them. I'm more than glad to connect with you. All right, it's very important. So let's move deeper. Three important essentials, three important things that we need to look at. The very first has to do with definition. Definition. There is the part of definition in personal branding. Definition. The second has to do with identification. Then the third has to do with clarification. And permit me to add one more. The fourth now has to do with implementation. Implementation. If you stick with me to the end, you would have enjoyed all of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you. Let's now start with definition. Definition is very important. You cannot talk about building a personal brand without first defining certain parameters about you. You cannot talk about building a personal brand without really defining certain parameters. They're very, very important. One of the parameters you need to deal with, that is very important, has to do with your purpose. with your purpose. It's very, very important. You need to first define your life's purpose. You cannot truly do personal branding. You cannot truly define. You cannot truly define. You cannot truly create perception, the right kind of perception, without first defining what your life's purpose is. You need to know. You need to know why you are here. You need to know the mission that you're here to accomplish. All of these things are the things that are going to help you. You understand? Because until you know the destination, until you know the mission you're on here to, you're on earth to accomplish, you may not be able to know the kind of perception or the kind of impression you should create on the minds of people in order for you to be able to achieve your objective. And when I talk about branding, when I talk about creating perception, I'm not talking about faking it to make it. I hope that is clear. I'm not talking about faking it till you make it. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about, all right. I'm talking about truly defining or truly creating the right kind of perception, not perception that is based on deceit. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about building something that would last. So the very first thing you need to define is for you to define your life's purpose. That's very important, number one. Number two is for you to define your vision. Your vision, what drives you? What drives you? What are you working towards achieving? It's very, very important. If someone should walk up to you and ask you, what is your life vision? What is even your life about? It is important that you define your life's vision. It is important that you define your life's vision, because this is important as far as your personal branding is concerned. Your vision is very, very important. Now, let me define vision. All right, in case for some of you who may be wondering, vision. Let me define vision from Simon Matthews' perspective. Vision is simply the mental picture. You understand, the mental picture that you have about the future that you desire. And you've written down, and you are willing to work towards actualizing it. That you're willing and ready to work towards actualizing it. That is what vision, in my view, is concerned. So what this simply means is that vision, as far as the equation of vision, as far as I am concerned, vision is not just about, the mental picture, I desire to be this so and so time, and I wrote it down, and I'm not committed, and I'm not even doing anything about it. But vision is not just the future, it's not just the mental picture of the future. It is about you committing and actually working towards actualizing it. So what it simply means is that what separates desire, what separates resolution, what separates every other thing from vision is the fact that you don't just have it on your visions board somewhere, but you are working. You are actually really working towards making them a reality. That for me is vision. Another thing you need to define is for you to also define your core values. Core values for me, I define them as set of systems that guides your operation as a human being. Set of systems, set of boundaries that you put in place, set of principles that you live your life by. I'm not talking about what every other person has adopted, because it seems to me when I interact with business owners, all right, in my capacity as a branding consultant or a brand strategist, when I interact with people and we try to develop especially their brand profile, when it comes to that section of core values, it's as if every other person is adopting similar things. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that is unique to you, that you hold in high esteem, not something that you just only wrote down, but something that you are actually living your life by. It's very, very important. So you need to define the set of values, the set of things that you hold in high esteem that is part of your system, the system that guides your day-to-day living. That is what for me is your core values. So you need to define your core values. It's very, very important. The core values, you need to define that. Another very important thing you need to define is for you to define what you want people to know about you. What you want people to know about you. Simply put, what are those things? The things that you do. The things that you do, you need to define that as well. The thing that you do. What do you want people to know about you? What exactly do you do that you want people to know? These things are very, very important. You understand? Because personal branding or building a personal brand does not just happen. Does not just happen by chance. It is as a result of the set of activities that you do. I don't know about you, but for me, I want to be known as that go-to brand strategist that is helping business people, that's helping entrepreneurs, all right, with strategies, with winning strategies that is helping them build globally profitable and relevant brand. And for those of you who have followed the series of shows that I do, ranging from the Business Sense with Coach Simon, all right, I hope you know there's a Business Sense with Coach Simon on Spotify. I hope you know that. For all of those people, you would have heard me mention several that I am on a mission, all right, to empower entrepreneurs with resources, with tools, with skills that will be able to help them build globally profitable and relevant brand. So that is what I want people to know about me. So what about you? What do you want people to know about you? What do you do that you want the world to know? Like, for example, in the world of football, certain names comes to mind. Names like Cristiano Ronaldo, names like Lionel Messi. You understand? Names like Mbappe and the host of others. So if your name is mentioned, what is synonymous? What can they identify, or what can they say that this person, what can they say that he or she does? It's something that you need to also define. Don't forget, we're talking about the essentials, all right, for personal branding. And I mentioned that we're going to touch on 4 key areas. Number 1, we're going to touch on definition. Number 2, we're going to talk about clarification. These things are very, very, very important. All right. So I want you to note that. Another very important thing also that you need to note is the fact that it's important that people know you for who you are. All right, who you are. So it's important that you define those 4 key areas. It's important that you define them. So let's now move to the second essential, which is identification. Identification. This has to do with your brand identity. This has to do with your brand identity. This has to do with your brand identity. All right. Okay, somebody's asking me, where am I streaming from? I'm streaming live from the city of Abuja, Nigeria. All right. In case you're wondering where Nigeria is in Africa, West Africa to be precise. So that's where I'm streaming from. All right. Thank you all for joining this class. All right. So let's move to the second thing, identification, because it is important. It is important that you are able to define those areas. You understand? Don't forget what I said. You start by defining your life's purpose. The next is define your life's vision. The next is for you to define your life's core values, set of principles that guide you. Then very importantly, define what you want people to know about you, or what's the service or the set of products that you want people to identify you with. All of these things are very, very important. Now, when you are able to define those things, it will now lead you to the second step, which talks about the issue of identification. Now, the first layer of definition is what I like to call the foundation. You know, you cannot successfully build something if you have not sorted out the foundation. You cannot successfully build a business without first sorting out the foundation. I'm not an engineer, but from what I've heard, I learned that I learned that the kind of structure and how far you want the structure to go will determine the kind of foundation that you're going to be building. In the same vein, also, I'm able to say that you cannot successfully build a personal brand without first solidifying your foundation. That is why I took you through a process of definition. Let's now talk about identification. Identification is very, very important. What is identity? Identity is simply the set of things that people use to distinguish you from other people. It's very important. A lot of people, they sort out that first layer, which is the definition part, and they pay little or no attention to the identification part. If you define what your brand should be, and you don't work on the identity to be able to distinguish you from others, or to be able to truly define, to be able to truly fine tune your definition, you may still be missing out on its benefits. All right. So it's important. All right. It's important that you define that. Why is brand identity important? It's important because it helps for ease of identification. People can easily identify you. Imagine that I just started this class, and I didn't mention my name, and maybe somebody's asking me, and I'm like the other person asking me, where am I streaming from? And I just told them, don't worry about it, just enjoy this, and all of those things. In communication, those sort of little things that you ignore could serve as distractions. As people, while they're trying to listen to you, they are also wondering, where's this person from? Doesn't this person have name? And all of those things. And that's exactly what most people do with their brands. Exactly what most people do with their businesses. You understand? Most people just start a business without properly defining the identity. And as a result of that, they're doing incredibly well, or they have potentials to do well, but because their products are not properly identified, and because the name of their brands are not properly identified, as a result of that, they leave so many things to chance. Ease of identification. That's number one. Number two, a benefit, or why it is important for you to do that, is that it also serves as a means of safety. It serves as a means of safety. That's what most people don't know. If your identity is clear and it is consistent, it can serve as identity. Those who are your customers or your clients will be able to tell that this belongs to this particular organization, or this particular company, or this particular person, as compared to others. It's important. Another thing also is the fact that it guarantees, of course, engagement and patronage. It guarantees that. Then there's that sense of class and association. Of course, ease of recommendations and referral. Imagine somebody trying to recommend you as a professional, as an expert, to another person, and you don't have a name. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very, very difficult for that person to be able to do that, to be able to truly say, okay, this is this person. Okay, if you are looking for a good brand strategist, I think you should talk to Dr. Simon, because he has a name. But imagine that I don't have a name. It will be difficult for that person to be able to reach me, or to be able to recommend me. You understand? Maybe they may have to look for my picture somewhere, or my handle somewhere, to be able to, okay, I think this is this person. Imagine that this channel does not have a name. You understand? You've gone through this class and you enjoyed it, and you may be finding it, and you forgot. Maybe you are not subscribed. For those of you who are not subscribed, by the way, go and subscribe, because this class happens every Saturday by 10 a.m. West African time. All right. So imagine that you just joined as a visitor. You're just scrolling through a platform, and you just saw it, and you decided to join, and maybe you forgot about it, and only for you to remember, this person is having this challenge. I think that this particular class will be of value to them, and only for you to search through, because the channel does not have a name. It may be difficult for you to recommend or to refer this channel to somebody. You understand? So that is the importance of having identity. Now, what are some of the features of strong identity? Some of the features of strong brand identity. Number one is expression of your life's essence. Through your identity, you can be able to express that. You can express that through your name. can express that to your name. For example, the series of brands that I run, there's one word that is synonymous to most of them, that is limitless. I believe that every human is created with the potential to do incredible things. So they are not created to be limited in nature. That is my belief. And as a result of that, so as a result of that, I deliberately fuse that into my brand, into the series of brands that I run. All right. Excellence. Excellence is important. Timeless. All right. Natural neutrality, talking about the features, what it should embody. What your identity should embody. It should embody that neutrality. It shouldn't be one-sided, like I see some people do. Except what you do, the service you render, except it is maybe somewhat tilted towards a particular religion or towards a particular race. If it is something that has that global view, it is important that neutrality is very, very important. All right. Consistency, memorability, it should also be flexible. All right. So it's very, very, very important. There are so many things that I will talk about. Okay, let me just touch on this, then we'll move to the third thing, because our time is, I think we have less than 9 minutes to go. All right, so let me just touch on components of a good brand identity. It's important for you to note that an identity is made up of several building blocks, one of which is your name, all right, as a personal brand. Another thing is your slogan. Slogan has to do with the tagline. What do you want to be known? What tagline resonates and people used to refer to you? For me, it's keep living the limitless life. And for several opportunities that I have that I've spoken, I usually would use that. All right, there's your logo. All right, there's also your colors, your customized designs, customized voice, tunes, sounds, and the uniqueness of your products, as well as your services, There are a whole lot of things that I would have loved to share here, but we just have to move. Now, the third aspect has to do with clarification. Clarification. It is important that you are able to now figure out. First, you're able to define. All right. The second, you're able to properly have an identity around it. The third is clarification. It's important that you clarify. You clarify the sort of things that you are doing. And this underscores the importance of having an expert work with you on your branding. Now, why is this important? It's important because what would have taken you 10 years to figure out, just sitting with an expert for 2 or 3 sessions, that would have been sorted out. And you'll be able to do things from an informed and a clarified perspective. You understand? And this is where a lot of people miss it. A lot of people are so fixed. Their eyes and minds are so fixed on, how much are they going to charge me? Yes, of course, you're going to pay. You understand? But what you would pay an expert will be way lesser than what you would eventually pay trying to figure out certain things by yourself. I'll say that again. What you're going to be paying an expert to figure out certain things is going to be about your branding. It's going to be way lesser than what you are going to be spending trying to figure things out by yourself. And that is why it's important that in your journey of branding, ensure that you work with an expert. An expert to be able to give you accurate. If that expert is really an expert indeed, they'll be able to give you an accurate things as to what to do. You understand? In order for you to be able to come up with the right kind of brand that would eventually help you achieve your set objectives. You understand? I liken branding to be a marathon, and I also liken branding to be a journey towards the destination. What most people don't pay attention to is that most people don't pay attention to defining what the destination is before starting the journey. You understand? All of those things that you do, the showing up that you do, the all of the core values that you have, that are principles guiding your existence. All of those things, they should all, if you have an expert, all right, work with you, you will be able to figure out the end from the beginning. Be able to figure out the end from the beginning. So all of those things that you do, they are meant to help in one form or the other for you to be able to achieve the things at the long run that you have set your heart to achieve. So it's important that you clarify on all fronts. You understand all the things that you have defined. Of course, at the point of clarity, you're able to know, can this work? Okay, can this not work? Why can't this work? It's also the period of strategy as well. It's also the period of strategizing. Okay, this is what I want to achieve. This is where I want to go to. This is what I want to do. This is what I don't want to do. This is where I'm headed. This is how I would like to go about it. And all of those things is at the point of clarification that all of these things are sorted out. All right. Then lastly, as we begin to round off this class, is implementation. If you figure out everything like most people would do, and you don't eventually start doing them, you may not get the result. On the other hand, if you start doing something and it is not in line with what you have programmed to do, you may still get nothing out. You can see it's twofold. If you do nothing with the things that you've learned, you will not get anything. If you also do, but not in line, you may not get results in line with what you have in mind. And so it's important that at the point of implementation that you put these things in place. It's very, very important. So if you make all of the efforts and you don't eventually launch out, nothing happens. It is like the case of someone who spent so much money, rented a space, beautified the space, and or even bought a land, put an office complex there, did all of the furnishing, did all of the branding, and they eventually did not launch and eventually open for people to come and take their services or buy their products. They may still not achieve the reason for going through all of those stress in the first place. And that is where most people are stuck. Most people, you have sat down with an expert. The expert has given you all of the blueprints. You understand. You have even bought the equipment. You have done all of the things that you have done, but you are still waiting for the right time to launch, or you're still waiting for the right time to do what you have to do. The truth of the matter is that the right time may never come. The right time to do whatever you need to do is the time that is now. You should start doing something. I'm talking to somebody, using this to talk to somebody that may be watching this right now. You have amazing ideas. You're waiting for the right time to come. I want you to know that right time may not come. The right time for you to start doing something is even the moment the idea came. You understand? The moment the idea came, that you have written everything out, that you have dotted your I's and crossed your T's. The right time is from that moment. You should start implementing, because it is only what you implement that you eventually get results from. But what you choose not to work with or work on or do any work around, you may not get any results. And that's why I encourage you that beyond just watching this or beyond just going through this class, it is important that you also commit to do the work, because it is in the doing of the work that results are gotten. It is in the doing of the work that you actually achieve results. It's in the doing of the work that you begin to get value in return. So I hope that these few things that I've shared with you, I hope that the added value to you, and I hope that you begin to work towards achieving them. My mission for doing this is very simple. It is to empower you with everything that you need to be able to build a globally profitable and relevant brand, right? That is my mission. All right. And I hope that you begin to do. And feel free to share this. All right. It's free. As you can see, you didn't pay any money to learn this. All right. Feel free to share this to as many people as possible. Trust me, if you build a solid personal brand, it can influence all of the other things that you do. As a career person, if your personal brand is solid, your chances of getting promoted and getting amazing opportunities in your place of work or in your organization will be higher. So don't play with this concept. Thank you very much for investing this time. I trust you learned something. All right, this is brought to you courtesy the Business Sense Digest. It is a magazine, a business magazine that is on the mission. I don't know why I keep using same. That is on the mission to empowering, especially African entrepreneurs, build globally profitable and relevant brand. And I'm inviting you to its official launch on the 25th of this month. All right, next week, Sunday. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be amazing, and you don't want to miss it. I'll be leaving the link so that you'll be able to join the Business Sense Digest community, where you'll be getting the monthly issues of the magazine for free. Thank you very much. And if you have questions, please let me know. And where you're watching from, please also let me know. For those of you who attended, for those of you who joined me live, thank you very much. For those of you who will be watching later, thank you very much. Share this with as many as possible. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than glad to answer them. And feel free to make suggestions on the kinds of topic you would want featured in this class, because it is going to be coming your way every Saturday by 10 a.m. West African time. Until I come your way again, keep doing business, keep making profit, and most importantly, keep living the limitless life. Thank you very much. Dr. Simon is my name. Bye for now.